Welcome back to the 3x5 Live podcast. Yes, you are stuck with me today. On this podcast, if you are new, it's usually Jessie and I on this podcast, and I'll get to her in a little bit, but we talk about mindset, personal development, wellness, productivity. Those are the main topics, themes of this podcast. We have something lined up for you guys today. Jessie and I are part-time Airbnb rehabbers. That's something we do as well. And we are live at that property right now that we're rehabbing. But it's pretty dusty, and Jessie is allergic to dust, so she is not feeling too hot today. So you guys are stuck with me, and I'm just going to do a lessons learned from a recent race I did last weekend. So last weekend, I ran a 50-mile ultramarathon. I've run this race before, but it's always been offered as a 50K. So this is the first year it came in as a 50-miler, and the race director reached out and convinced me that it was a fantastic idea to partake in the 50-mile distance. I said, okay, but that's when it was August, and January came, and it was freezing. So last Saturday was like 17 degrees. It was a 5 a.m. start, so you're running 2 hours in the dark at this temperature, and it was a struggle. It was this is my 16th or 17th ultra marathon, and anywhere from the 50K distance all the way up to the 100-mile distance, everything in between. And this was probably the hardest race. And this is the first race I can remember ever honestly wanting to quit and trying to convince myself to quit. So it was essentially a 3-loop course. The first loop was 20 miles, and then each loop after that was like 15 and a half miles. So loop 2 was 15 and a half, and loop 3 was 15 and a half. So rewinding a little. So last month, I've been dealing with a back injury. Mid-December, did something in the back, tweaked it. I went to physical therapy, been going to physical therapy, trying to rehab it to get ready for this race since mid-December. Training wasn't great as I was rehabbing my back. Training was fantastic leading up to that injury. So I didn't know what to expect going into this race. I had a feeling it was going to pop up, and it did. But we'll get into that. So loop 1, 20 miles, me and the guy in first place, we were both kind of in first place running together for the first 20 miles. And everything was kind of clicking, feeling okay. And then we went out for loop 2, and about 2 miles into loop 2, my back lit up like a Christmas tree, and I entered the pain cave. The guy that I was running with, slowly made his way and out of sight, and I couldn't keep up because I was in some serious pain. And I went down a spiral, which I normally don't do in these races. Usually I have some healthy mantras, and those mantras keep me going when I'm in a dark spot. But this was different. I was really trying to convince myself every reason why it was okay to quit and why nobody would fault me and it would be okay. I mean, friends knew I was having this race. Jessie honestly didn't even want me to run this race because of my back. And I just started making all the excuses of why I shouldn't finish, why I should finish loop 2, call it quits. And that's what I thought about for the next 10-ish miles, is all the reasons to quit. All my normal mantras, the further I go, the stronger I get. There's light around the next bend, meaning, if you're in a dark spot, there's light right around the corner. None of that stuff was working. And I have a whole list of them I use. But about 2 miles before I got to the end of loop 2, where I had to make a decision if I was going to start loop 3, I started thinking about remember tomorrow. Remember tomorrow, Bryan, the person tomorrow. If you finish this thing, what are they going to say? And if you don't finish this thing, what is that person's going to feel like? And I know myself well enough that when I woke up, race was on Saturday. When I woke up Sunday morning, the first thing I'm going to feel is either pride or, I hate to say it, but I'd feel failure. And when I'm brushing my teeth in the morning, I'm going to be looking myself in the mirror, and I'm going to hold my head a little higher if I finish this thing. If I finish this thing sitting on the couch with a fire going, watching NFL playoffs, sipping a beer. That beer is going to taste a little better. I was trying to remember tomorrow if there's some way I could get through this pain without injuring myself. But if I could get through this race, start loop 3, because I knew if I started loop 3, there's no turning back, that I'd wake up tomorrow and I'd feel pride. My self-talk would be better. All those things that we talk about. And my mindset, my grit muscle, that grit muscle would be built a little stronger. And so when I went into at the end of loop 2, my emotions in these races, you get so mentally and physically drained that your emotions are high. And I went in, I refueled, for the next loop, got all my gels and nutrition I needed, filled up the water bottles, put fresh hand warmers in my gloves. And I went out on loop 3, and I started welling up. I started crying because I knew the pain I was going to experience for the next 15 miles. But I was also proud of myself to at least going out there and trying. And a funny thing started happening when I was about 5 miles into that loop 3. The pain was there, but I started to deal with it and had a fresh attitude about it. And knowing I was going to finish, just my pace started to get faster. And I started to just kind of click off the miles, and I was going up hills a lot faster. Things started happening that weren't happening in loop 2, because I remembered tomorrow. I remembered who I wanted to be in the morning. If friends reached out that knew I was doing the race, I could easily say to them, hey, it wasn't my day, my back hurt, and go down this like excuse hole, which I didn't want to do. And I ended up finishing strong in second place, which I'm proud of, but I'm more proud of the fact that I overcame those adversities. I developed the grit muscle a little more. My mindset was strong enough to continue on. People around me, it was so cold that their water bottles, the tops of their water bottles were actually freezing shut, so they couldn't get water out. So they would have to take off the lid. So, I mean, it was miserable out there, but I got it done, and that was my biggest takeaway. And I'll use that in the future when I'm coming up against things I don't want to do, but I know if I do them tomorrow, I'm going to be so much happier that I committed and got that thing done. So that was my big takeaway. Sorry for the little rant here. This is kind of an impromptu, like a little race report, since Jesse's a little bit down for the count right now. And yeah, so if you're interested in the podcast, please subscribe, give us a review. The 3x5 Life system is out. We are actually sold out. Which is awesome to say, but some people I know have been DMing me asking when it's going to come back. In about 2 weeks, we'll have more systems available. So they will be, the next batch will come through until those sell out. But they've been selling really well. We're very thankful for that and getting great feedback. So 3x5 Life system is out there if you guys are interested. Until next week, hopefully Jessie's here, better half, because she's way better at these things than me. Have a great week, guys. See ya.
Hello world, wake me up to another good